I was a liar, I gave into the fire. I know I should have fought it, at least I'm being.
I'm wondering how my muscle work. What is the mechanism behind it? Okay, the transparent plastic is the epimysium, the white paper is the perimysium, and the third one is the surface of the pen is the endomysium. Okay, understand?
Dear viewers, these are the structures that involve in the contraction cycle. The blue color is troponin. The red line is tropomyosin. The yellow color is actin. And this green thing is known as myosin head. Now I'm going to explain to you the contraction cycle in our muscle. In the first stage, calcium comes in and binds to the troponin. This will cause the tropomyosin to move and expose the active site on the actin. And then, the presence of ADP and phosphate group will energize the myosin head. In the second stage, the myosin head is already energized and it will bind to on the actin and then will form a cross bridge. And also, the phosphate group is released. In the third stage, the myosin cross bridge is rotated towards the center of the sarcomere. This is known as the power stroke. And then the ADP is released. After that, ATP comes in. And the ATP comes in, we enter the fourth stage, which is the final stage. The cross bridge is detached from the actin. And this will cause the myosin head to return to the original position, which is the cocked position. The end. Oh no, I missed something. The ATP here will be hydrolyzed and form ADP and phosphate group. Okay, the end.
This is the anatomical structure of the bone.
Most layer of bone is periosteum. Beneath the periosteum, there is compact bone which has osteon, which is also known as Haversian system, and then spongy bone which does not have osteon. Compact bone also composed of circumferential lamella, interstitial lamella, and concentric lamella. Between the concentric lamella, there are small space called lacuna and canaliculi. Let's see the detailed section of trabeculae of spongy bone. It contains lacuna, canaliculi, osteoblast, osteocyte, and lamella. Not forgetting the central canal and perforating canal, which undergo the penetration of blood vessel, lymphatic vessel, and nerve from the periosteum. The function of red bone marrow in the spongy bone is to undergo hematopoiesis, while yellow bone marrow is for energy reserve. Now, that's all for histological structure of the bone.
Step 1. Development of ossification center. Mesenchymal cells cluster together and differentiate into osteogenic cells, next into osteoblasts. This site is called an ossification center. Osteoblasts secrete the organic extracellular matrix of bone. Step 2. Calcification. The secretion of extracellular matrix stops and now called osteocytes, where lie in lacunar and into canaliculi. Next, extracellular matrix hardens or called calcifies. Step 3. Formation of trabeculae. Bone develops into trabeculae that next form spongy bone. Then it differentiates into red bone marrow. Last step, development of the periosteum. The mesenchyme condenses at the periphery of bone and develops into periosteum. Next, a thin layer of compact bone replaces the surface layers of the spongy bone, but spongy bone remains in the center. Much of the newly formed bone is destroyed and reformed as the bone is transformed into adult size and shape. Step 1. Fetal hyaline cartilage model develops. Step 2. Cartilage calcifies and a periosteal bone collar forms around diaphysis. Step 3. Primary ossification center forms in the diaphysis. Step 4. Secondary ossification centers form in epiphysis. And the last, step 5. Bone replaces cartilage except articular cartilage and epiphyseal plates. Epiphyseal plates ossify and form epiphyseal lines. So that is the process of endochondral ossification.
Dwarfism. It is a short stature man that have only 4 feet and 5 inch head for an adult. And you know that it is obviously related with musculoskeletal system. In this visual, the head and the trunk is normal, which means the intramembranous bone formation is totally not affected. However, you may notice here that the extremities of him are short. They are not developed properly. This caused by impaired icochondral bone from cartilage formation. Dwarfism is caused by active gene mutation where on the fibroblast factor receptor 3, which is FGFR3. This action may lead to much expression of protein and make the body receive highly growth signal. Then it will inhibit the icochondral bone formation growth. Last but not least, patients with dwarfism may have a lot of health problems. First, decreased muscle tone, which can cause delays in walking and other motor skills. Next, they also may slow or stop the breathing in a brief period. It is called as apnea. Moreover, the dwarf man may have a spinal stenosis. It occurs when the spinal canal is narrowing that will compress the spinal cord. And finally, abnormal curvature, which divides into two, which is kyphosis and lordosis. Thank you.
As we can relate to Islamic perspective, muscle and skeletal system is very important for Muslims. We have to maintain our health by taking care of our body. As mentioned in one hadith from Prophet Muhammad SAW, it reminds us that a strong believer is better and more beloved to Allah than the weak believer, while there is good in both. A strong believer is the one who has good physical and mental. It stressed here that physical strength allows the believers to worship Allah with a great vigor and with great endurance and great. They are also more capable of commanding the good and forbidding the wrong when it requires a physical effort to enforce the good or to forbid the wrongdoings. So let us take good care of our health in order to worship Allah.